Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 11th of September 2019. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin. So starting on the monthly chart, we can see that we had this enormous push high, which is the one that kind of pointed out this huge rush into Bitcoin a couple of years ago. This was very interesting. Everyone was buying. The headlines were saying buy Bitcoin, blah blah blah. Bitcoin is being marked as a speculative instrument by a lot of countries and tax authorities, and so this really came into the mainstream at this stage. So a lot of people started to buy, but most of the people started to buy very, very high. And so the people who got on board very low, they saw price move up like this, and they started to take their profits off the table, because this was staggering returns, thousands of percent of returns since they bought. So we saw this huge decline in price. Where did price go? Monthly demand, as we can see very clearly. Pipnotic software showed this to us months in advance, and now price is moving higher. Notice that when price came down here, it sat and started to accumulate orders to push price higher. The price didn't go anywhere for about 4 months, and this is probably because a lot of people were frightened. A lot of people lost money because they started to buy towards the highs here, and then price tanked and they started to get out of their positions, which essentially what caused price to move lower so quickly here towards the end. The people who got in earlier on, they saw this, or the people who were standing on the sidelines waiting patiently saw this as a tremendous opportunity to start to accumulate some bitcoins. Price poked into this demand, and then price jumped up from there. And currently now we're sitting here, we're playing off some maybe some micro supply, weekly or daily supply here to the left, and now we are waiting. So if we have a look on the weekly chart, see what's going on. We have the beginning of a sell zone here, which is very clear, just here. Price didn't quite get there. I think we'll probably find some maybe daily supply around here. But for the time being, price is kind of moving higher, and it looks like it's running out of steam, and now it's kind of having a bit of a break. So now, in order to attract buyers, it's going to have to come a little bit lower. A lot of people burned their fingers earlier on with Bitcoin, and so now I think potentially we're going to see a little bit more patience. Probably not, but it's certainly something that the chart is telling us here. Okay, so if we have a look at the daily chart, we can see if we go back, yeah, we can see here very close. Okay, so this is the, let's zoom in so we can see. Here we have a very clear. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Here we have a parent. The child tested it, and the price lifts. We have two areas. We have more aggressive stance, which would be from here. So this is trading the child. Let's move off to the absolute lows here. Okay, so we have two levels. We have this one, the beginning of the sell zone here, and we have the high of the sell zone. But this is not the beginning of the sell zone. The beginning of the sell zone is up here. All right. Good. And so now price is kind of wriggling around, and then it starts to move lower. We see if price got close to the price went through the beginning of the sell zone, and it wanted to look for the volume, which it found here at the 1337. This was a really nice place for people to begin to liquidate their coins in an attempt to buy back at a better price. And we have a few better prices in radar. We had this lovely area, price accumulated. We gapped high, we poked into this, so this would have been an interesting place to get involved with Bitcoin upon the return. It's been tested once, twice, 3 times. These two are quite close as well. And now we have a supply that is forming above price. And if we draw a couple of areas on the chart, we can see, they zoom in, you can see we have, this is not really supply, nothing really happened here. Probably some micro supply up here, but price is pretty much moving around on these highs here, and we'll just mark that off, and we'll have a look on a smaller time frame and see what's inside. We need clarity. If we see here, okay, here we can see it's here. So this is the supply. Okay, this is where price came to, tested it, it went down, we moved up, we tested it a couple of times, and now price is moving off. And so currently we don't have any demand until down here, small demand here. And this is interesting because we had market structure which failed. Okay, the origin of the move that caused market structure to fail is here. So this is a continuation pattern, and we have this nice area here. This is not demand, by the way. This is not demand. You can see this because the way the candles are looking. This is a child that is testing supply. And so what we need to do is we need to go back and identify the beginning of the buy zone. So we mark off the low, we go back, and every time we find a new low, we move it lower, because this is where price has already been. Okay, and this brings us to this area here, which is pretty much the lows of this area prior to this gap. So we have this here. Okay, this is the daily area that we saw, and below that we have this area. Price rallied. This is messy, but this is where this gap originated from. So this is also an interesting area. And see, this is my favorite. If price came down here, I would absolutely positively begin to accumulate Bitcoin. I like this price a lot, so around the 4100 area. This is a very clear sign that people are looking to buy. This is price moving slowly. See, we started to accumulate for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden, boom. So we had a couple of areas of value. So we had this area here. Oops, wasn't very well drawn. So we had this area here. And then we had moving between this one here. You see, we had a high, went down, sat on the area, popped up, went down, and then it broke away. So this returned to the high channel, and then it popped out. So this is a very interesting area to target for entries once price comes back down there. If we look lower, we can see that we have huge pushes, price digging down, advertising low prices, and then we found some buyers, boom, doing the same thing, trying to get the price lower, and then we're doing that. The beginning of this buy zone from this perspective is here, because this is the deepest retracement since then, and this is probably an okay daily area. You can find it. Yeah, it's here. It's this one right here. You can see right there. So price rallied, accumulated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Price cut away, and we traded at this new value area here, and then price moved away from there. Below that, we have prices down here, but that's pretty low considering where price currently is. So if you put your orders in down here and you waited, you'd probably be waiting for a long time. Okay, or maybe price will never get back to that area. But what we do have is we have this lovely area here, about the 4100 area, the 41 to 4200 area. I like that very much. And then price left, accumulated, and went away. What I like is the black space. Notice the black space. Since this area was formed, price moved away, and there's nothing at all that has been back to this area here. This is all black space, untested. Okay, a lot of these areas here have been tested. See, the black space that was here has been met here. This one here is still okay, but price has already been trading in this area. This is a little bit better. We have the beginning of the buy zone here, and below that we have here the beginning of the buy zone here, and then we have the real value is here, and then essentially this 4-hour area just here. Let's see if we can see what's going on in the smaller time frames, because this is where the tail will be told about what's going on. You can see that we have this hourly area of supply that was formed within the daily area that we tested. Okay, price moved up to that area, tested it, and now we're seeing a retreat. So we have this area here, which is a 4-hour area of demand, and we have this pretty ugly base down here, which is, I think this is one we spoke about, which is a test of daily demand down here. You can see it's daily because of the red box, and so ideally you want to wait to buy at lower prices. Price is simply too overvalued for the time being. So keep your eye on those levels, and yeah, share any questions you have in the comments below. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, have a super week. Thanks for watching.